make sure that said PR firm is not promising you the moon, the sun, and the stars on day one, because momentum takes time and it's hard to build. But once you build it, then it's usually pretty, it's easier to sustain.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Don't Do That podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Waltrich, and with me today, I have my friend, Jimmy Moock. How you doing, Jimmy?
I am doing great, Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Guys, I'm always honest with you when this is a take two. Jimmy and I were going to tell you that we did outfit changes between the last version of this that we did and this one, but we decided to just take it from the top. So we had a little bit of practice. So I think that means that this is going to be our most awesome episode ever.
I'd like to dedicate my joining the Don't Do That podcast to Ryan, who was recently on, and he also had a couple of takes from the first invite to Showtime. So, Ryan, my man, this one's for you.
Thanks for calling me out on that. Anyway, all right, guys. So this industry is built on friendships, in my opinion. And Jimmy and I have known each other for a really long time. And we took the plunge into entrepreneurship at around the same time. And so we've been both riding this wild wave for the last, 5 years or so. And I think the most fun part about this story is that we were both going to tell each other at about the same time because we were working together at Orion. He was obviously at a PR firm, leading our PR efforts for me at Orion. And I think we were both a little nervous to tell the other that it was happening. And now we look back on that and laugh and think, like, thank God we did what we did and what an awesome moment in time. But Jimmy, give us a little bit of your side of this story.
Well, first of all, let's take a step back to before we each had our epiphanies and we knew that we were going to be leaving. Let's talk about the client flack relationship component that the two of us had. Because not to say that I'm one that will ever shovel shit toward a client, because I believe all of our clients are very smart and know what they know. But when Kelly Waltrich is your client, that is like to the 10th degree.
Oh, God.
So now I'm joking around, but
You're not. It's okay.
No, and what all this is a ham-handed compliment, to be honest, because you have had sat in a lot of marketing positions, and I know that I've had quickly come to learn that you had worked with PR, either by guiding an agency or working internally with your own PR counterparts. So you knew what worked and what didn't. And you also knew what was the appropriate amount of effort versus what wasn't cutting it. And I really appreciate the fact that on more than one occasion, you shared that, expectations weren't being met. But then you said, and here's why. So it was an easy fix, right? And I think that the relationship starting off, and like you and I had known each other, and I think we had met when you were at a firm prior to you being at Orion, and there was a discussion about whether or not we were going to be working together then, but we really didn't know each other until we were in the client PR person dynamic. And once we got there, it was eye-opening and it was challenging, but I can 100% say without an ounce of doubt that I am a better practitioner for it because of the challenge.
Oh, well, I'm going to maybe take part of that as a compliment. I was tough. I know that. I love PR and I love you. And I love PR because I think so many people play it as if it's just communication, but I think of it as like a weapon in a marketing toolkit that, like, can be, if used appropriately, can be just, I don't know, make magic and make all the difference. So I think that's why you and I ended up in a really good place, because you got that very quickly. And we aligned on that very quickly, and it did phenomenal things for that time and growth of Orion. Like, if you think about the voice that we gave Eric Clark before Eric Clark had a voice. I mean, he always had a voice, but he was in the background. He didn't want to be out front, and we put him out front. And now, I don't know. The rest is history. But I think it was really fun, even if I was a pain in your butt.
No, again, look, it was tons of fun. And do you remember when I think you were still there, and I think I was still there, when Eric came up with the thought leadership idea about the Fosberry Flop for investment news?
Yes.
So I brought that up in media training yesterday as a way to take anything from the world of pop culture, in this instance track and field, and presumably the Olympics, and how somebody went about a problem, i.e. the high jump,
Yeah.
and creating a new world record, and brought a different approach to it. And to Eric, this was analogous to how he started portfolio accounting and rebalancing at the RIA, of which Orion was more or less born out of.
Yep.
And, you talk about the secret weapon, or how you can amplify someone's voice. That's a great example of taking something that others might just casually observe and think, oh, that's interesting, or I never knew that. But here they are connecting it to the purpose of their business today and the problems that they are solving, and making it much more interesting than saying, well, yeah, I just wanted to tinker around with technology while I was doing my other job,
Right.
but then it became Orion. This is a way to put a little bit of color on your paintbrush, so to speak, as you're telling that story.
Yeah, I think it's such a good example, and I totally forgot about that. He's so good at that. And I feel like, so many times you look internally and you think of your people as spokespeople. You pick the ones that are eloquent. You pick the ones that can look good in front of a camera. We all do it. At the end of the day, like, I think firms forget that this business is so wildly personal, and the founder-led stuff is so important. Tina has to remind me of that all the time, hence the Don't Do That podcast. But
Oh,
I think, it goes forgotten. And Eric is such a good example of, like, what a great opportunity to amplify a voice that was just thoughtful and brought humanness to that Orion brand in a way that, like, I think goes down in history as one of the best fintech founder stories. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I am biased, but
well, bias is okay, because you were obviously a big part of Orion while there,
yeah,
and you and I were challenged
to say the least.
with
Yeah.
a getting that story told against some real competitors,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Whether it was InvestNet or Adipar or Black Diamond,
Yep.
um, it's a there was plenty of competition back then, which meant that there was plenty of other headlines
To combat. Yeah.
to combat or to fight for, which will always keep a PR person on their toes. And I'd also imagine, from your perch, watching competitors launch new services or new tools or do their own acquisitions, that that turns up the heat on yourself, even though it's a totally different business, that they're firing on their own
Oh my gosh.
objectives.
Do you feel like that's changed? I don't know why, but I don't feel that same maybe it's just the view that I have now, but I don't feel the same level of like constant innovation headlines.
I would say that the constant innovation headlines, for better or for worse, have been, to a degree, replaced by constant acquisition
M&A.
headlines
Yep.
and or constant, hey, we want a new client headline.
Yeah.
But and look, I'm looking at myself in the mirror here via your Riverside, right? But you know more than anybody that every one of those instances, whether it's a fundraise or whether it's a, hey, I'm a fintech and this is my new RIA client, or I am a acquisitive integrator and we just bought $1 billion shop. It's all about the here's why we did it.
Right.
Right. So when you get past whatever the transaction is or what the news is,
Yeah.
and then you're able to, back to that secret weapon wording that you were using earlier, when you're able to layer that into the press release or the pitch or to offer these ideas to a reporter to consider, I think that's when it becomes something more than just another acquisition.
Interesting. You're totally right. It is all M&A. So do you think it's going to come in waves? Do you think this AI thing is going to like create a wave of news that's more focused on technology again? Or I don't know, maybe. I hope. I love that stuff. I eat it up.
Look, I love it too. I get a little bit overwhelmed when I'm trying to learn about new technologies
Yeah.
or implementing new technologies here at our firm, because you better believe that we're investing in AI also.
Yep.
Um, but think about what you said a few minutes ago. Like, this is a person-to-person industry. So whether it was Eric Clark back in the day or Joe Duran talking about how we're going to make advisors bionic via the tech that we're building for them, I think it's going to be a little bit more along the lines of that. But now I think we're, thanks to AI and the seismic shift that it has created, where, it seems like 12 months ago, it was on top of everybody's mind. 6 months ago, every client is now talking about it and they have an AI announcement to make, let alone all of the AI native firms that have been born over the past
Crazy.
6 to 12 months. So I think like AI is just another catalyst for more tech, more advancing of the human tasks. Um, but I'm also like waiting for some type of AI player to make a bad mistake.
Yeah.
And it'll be really interesting to see what the fallout is from that.
Yeah, that's so true. So AI, when you're pitching reporters on an AI thing, like, are they sick of it? Are they over it? Are they skeptical? Like, what's your sense of like the appetite for these types of stories?
Great question. And I think that in the beginning, reporters couldn't get enough AI.
Yeah.
And now there is that, all right, take the words AI, take the word platform,
Yeah.
take revolutionary, all the adjectives, take them out of here and tell me what you
what is
really
this doing?
have
Yeah.
and what this does, what problem that it solves, and why does it matter today versus weeks ago or months from now.
Yep.
So it was really easy to begin with. And now I would say reporters, like they should be, they want to see proof points and they want to understand more about the problem that you're solving. And it better be that you're solving a real problem that people have, instead of you're just creating something and you're going to go find the problem that it fixes later.
Totally. Okay, so let's have some fun. Give me a list of things that people think are news that are not news.
Wow. All right. Putting my feet to the fire.
Come on, let's go.
So, new hires, I would say they should be looked at through the lens of, who is this person that you're hiring? Where have they been? What have they accomplished in their career to date? And why should anyone matter? That's one.
I mean, yeah, and what people don't want to hear is that it comes down to, like, I don't want to say how popular, but, like, who knows? Like, how many people know who they are? Like, a press release about somebody that has been in the background, no matter how impressive, is tough, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, but now this is connected to some founders that I know.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting when a fintech leader comes from outside of our industry, like somebody from the world of Netflix or Uber, or something that already changed the way consumers live, eat, and breathe, or ingest media. When somebody like that comes into our industry, I think that's it's probably going to be a good new hire announcement. But if we're trying to get excited about somebody who has had 7 different jobs over the past 10 years, I'm going to wave the caution flag to the client and say, let's try to rethink this, or how else we might want to weave this news development into a broader story or a broader update on your company.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. Very fair. All right, what else is on the list? New hires.
How about a new tech release?
Integration, like a new integration for sure.
Well, an integration like between 2 different fintechs, I get it. Like, if we're talking about Orion integrating with a fintech that you never heard about before, it could be, look, to Orion or the established fintech player, it might be more of a nuisance. But think about it when you're the seat of the creator who has built something, and now you need to tap into a captive universe.
Yep.
This could be a make it or break it announcement.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what is it that your technology does? How much of the advisor's workflow does it really touch? Or is this a very, very niche thing that the wider ecosystem is going to read this and scratch their heads and wonder, what the hell did I just read?
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think, like, interesting new technologies integrating with other technologies is always good. But I just remember at Orion, I think reporters got tired of, like, the next integration news, because there were so many of them, which is good. But
yeah, and look, we have a lot of burgeoning growth oriented fintechs today that are just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
But you better believe that every now and again, we'll get tested by the likes of Davis Janowski at Wealth Management, and he'll be like, all right, why should I really care about this? And he's a veteran reporter who is not just going to accept a press release under embargo that, when you take away all of the trimmings, it might just be an integration, and he'll call us out on that. But you know what? That's valuable feedback also. That our clients, as well as the agency that represents them, needs to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that would also challenge someone in your role. Okay, well, this is the feedback that we're getting from a objective audience. How do we want to change what we're saying about our widget or this new tech in order to make it break through a little bit easier. And it's hard.
Yeah, very. All right, I'm going to tee you up for some to add to the list, and you say yay or nay. Large enterprise financial services firms with thousands of advisors adding a new fintech to their options that their advisors can choose from.
Yeah, it's much better to be the exclusive provider of whatever that technology might be versus just being an option.
Yeah.
But if you are going to be an option, you better be the first one to make that announcement. Otherwise, the others are going to be following and they're not going to get the ink that the first mover did.
Okay, you just blew my next one. My next one was like the follow on, like your competitor just
Good
announced
luck.
something and you're like, oh shit, they beat me to it. What do you do?
Yeah.
Find something else to announce?
Yeah, you're going to want to Control Alt Delete and throw that one away and see. Or what I would do is, again, just like the example I just gave, I would challenge the client to rethink, okay, this can't be the headline. Maybe it's something that's in the subhead, or maybe we weave it into the release that is a much more broader update on what's happening at your business and why, against maybe it's trends, whether it's the wealth transfer, or maybe it's looking at different avenues of fixed income investing in a inflation stubborn world. Who knows? Like, what else can you say about what's going on?
Yeah.
And still bring this as a part of the story, but not make it the story.
Okay, last one. You're putting on an event. Yay or nay?
So is it a user conference or
Yes,
is it
user
a
conference.
trade show?
Well, user conference for sure. Trade show, we'll
Okay.
just assume nobody thinks that that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, look, some trade shows are awesome, right? I would say that there are fewer that matter these days, but a lot of them still get thousands and thousands of people. And I'm talking specifically about Future Proof and Impact.
Yep.
Right? Like I've heard great things about Future Proof over the years. And you and I were talking before we hit the record button that all signs from the world of Impact were that people were enjoying themselves, and it was a content-rich show with plenty of advisors.
Yep.
Right?
For sure.
For a user conference, I think it depends on what you do, right? What is the technology that you use? How important is it in the advisor tech stack? And is it really, like, look, is it worth it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you and I were also just talking earlier, right? Yeah. How old is Dylan now? 6?
He just turned 6. Yep.
And what's your daughter's name? I forget.
Kayla.
How old is she?
3.
2.5?
3.
3? Okay. So as they get older and as you get more involved in elementary school and practices and events and you name it, do you think you're going to have the availability to travel as much as you did 10 years ago?
I already don't. Those are the people that know me listening to this are probably laughing. I find every reason not to travel, Jimmy.
That's true. Yeah. Or cancel at the last minute.
I'm
right?
out. I'm done. Yes.
So
those years are behind me.
I think there's obviously room for user conferences, but I think expectations need to be kept front and center because you're really going to have to explain what the value is, why these people can't miss it, and building a strategy on FOMO is really tough.
Really tough. Yeah, I mean, you ask yourself, like, is this going to do anything for an audience that I wouldn't get via email, in my opinion.
Right.
Okay, so last one. I know that I said that was the last one, but this is event related, so it's packaged in. So everybody loves a good, like, ooh, we're going to future proof. Let's all put out a press release at the same time saying whatever I did in the last couple months is happening now. Like, event press releases for not your event, but you want the people there to see it. Yay or nay?
Yay. And this is tough, right? Why are people doing this? Because they want eyeballs on their technology, or they want butts in the seats for their time on stage, whether they're throwing an activation at their own booth, or they are on one of the main stages talking to attendees. It's really hard to make noise at all of these events.
Yep.
So if you can manufacture some news that matters and either drop it at the event or a couple of weeks leading up to the event,
Yep.
yeah, I would say definitely go for it. But you also better believe that you are going to be facing some fierce competition from presumably the largest fintechs, asset managers,
Yep.
and wealth managers on the planet.
Yep. I was just going to say, if you don't think you can compete with them, I mean, a lot of times, so I think everything you just said is so spot on. And sometimes it's good, even if you can outcompete them, but you want to be able to point to something as conversation topic for the people that you're trying to reach. You know, if you can send a note out to people and say, hey, we just announced this, take a peruse. Can we talk about it while we're there? Like, we've used that strategy before, and that's solid as like a tee up to meetings.
Well, the last Future Proof Festival in California, I was in awe with the amount of activations and people having their own speaking events at their booths.
I know.
Like, that is awesome.
Totally.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's bummed, but you know what? There's only 130 speakers that make it on stage, and there are 5,000 attendees. So right there, if you could just do some simple math, you know that it's an uphill battle. And hiring the best marketing firm or hiring the best PR firm or a so-so marketing firm or a so-so PR firm doesn't guarantee the fact that you are going to get on stage. I'm sorry.
No, you got to be like the most cutting edge. I actually love that about Middleton and what they're doing over there. You have to bring it to be on their stage, and that's the way it should be. Honestly, that's the way it should be at all these events. It's hard because the sponsorship dollars and all that kind of stuff, I totally get it. I've run lots of large events. I understand, but I appreciate that they try to keep it fresh.
Yep.
So that's all good stuff. Okay. So that was fun. I hope you all learned something from that.
So wait, I have a personal don't do that story.
Okay, well, we're going to get to your don't do that next. Is this separate?
Oh, all right. No, this is something I just thought of about something that junior account executive Jimmy Moock did.
Tell us. Okay, tell us.
In like 1998.
Tell us.
So, and I started thinking about it because of Wu-Tang Clan. So remember when, or you might not, I don't know, but back in the late 90s, there was a Wu-Tang Clan name generator site.
Yes.
So you would go type in your name, Kelly Waltrich, and then you would be like Ghostface, K-Dub, Trick, or whatever, right?
Oh, God, yes.
So, but the sidebars or the side, you're a marketer. What's it called when there's an advertisement on the side? I forget the name.
Yeah, I forget too.
Okay, well,
yes, I've
so some of the banners, surrounding the name generator were questionable in terms of scantily clad women, paraphernalia used for people that are into marijuana, like stuff associated with the band, right?
Yeah.
Or the group, the musical act. So junior account executive Jimmy thought this was the coolest thing ever, and he took this email and decided to forward it to all of his friends. What I didn't know is that I included our largest client at the time, and she was with General Electric. This is when I was at Peppercom, and we had a couple of different businesses or charges, remits that were rolled into GE corporate. So this woman, Jenny at GE, got the email, and that an hour later, after I hit send, and like I'm waiting for responses from my buddies, like, "Oh, Jimmy, you're so funny, you're so hip," whereas like the email forwarder guy is like just someone that you hate. Like, remember those days?
Yes.
So all this takes place now on Instagram, and it's all one-to-one for the most part. So like this is
Yeah.
a dying something that died. Anyway, I get called into Steve and Ed's office. They were the partners of Peppercom, and they were like, Jimmy, they had a printout of my email, and they put it in front of me, and they said, we just lost I don't know, it was probably like a $70,000 a month account because of this email. Let me tell you how scared I got. And it was true. Like I sent the email. I didn't mean to send it to her. Now, these guys were joking. They did not lose the account, but they did get a stern talking to by our client. And anyway, so don't do that. Any young professionals out here listening to this podcast, if you want to send something silly along to your friends, I would just suggest that you don't do that.
Oh my gosh. And guys, another tidbit, there's a pirate name generator too, and that is equally as hilarious.
Awesome. Can you drop these links in the show notes for anyone
Yes.
that wants to go find them?
Yes. Totally, totally. All right. So you already gave us a personal don't do that, but you have, I think, one that, for this part of the show that is your lesson for you've given us a lot of lessons, Jimmy, as I knew you would. But give us your big don't do that for everybody listening today. What are we not doing today?
So we live and work in an industry where the ADV is a source of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have had clients over the years, and it's now been 20 plus years. I've been in financial services PR, 25 years.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Woo.
The one thing I would say to not do is to lie and inflate the size of your firm to a reporter who could easily go check on the ADV and find out that something is wrong. Something doesn't connect here. Because you know why? Not only are you going to now be on your heels with this exact reporter and trying to massage and put up your shield and course correct to make the sting a little bit less, but then every other outlet is going to see this story. And now you might be facing the same situation with wealth management, with financial planning, with Citywire, because when they all see somebody that has done something wrong, what's the saying? If it bleeds, it leads, right? So they're not just going to let this one story live out there and you took your licks and now it's back to business as usual. You're going to be held to a higher standard by the rest of them as well. So that was one.
Well, and
And
don't
look,
don't you think that rings true for everything? Like, I think it's so easy to want to zhuzh your press release and you know, fudge the release dates of things and fudge how many clients you have. And like, remember looking at competitors' releases and being like, there's just no way those numbers are like all of it. Like there's, this is a small industry. People are not
Yeah,
dumb.
it's a very small industry. People are not dumb. People do talk.
Yeah.
And it is so easy today in 2025 to lose all of your credibility by one false move that, think about it, has taken presumably years or your career in order to build up to the level of credibility that you have. Like, that is the one currency that our clients have that we are either promoting or defending.
Yep.
So we could either be your sword and figure out a cool way to cut this story and tell it to everybody, or we're gonna have to be your shield and to protect you. And
Love that.
using certain or bending the truth in even minor ways can really come back to haunt you. And I wish we won't work with clients that do that, only because
Good.
we most of the time we don't charge for crisis communications. It's baked into our client's retainer. So why would I want to open myself up to being
No.
in the crisis mode all day, every day? I don't have enough hair on my head for that.
Both of us are grayer, Jimmy, than we were when we started these businesses. That is for
I know.
sure.
I know. We're not as handsome and beautiful as we used to be.
All right. It's
What
all right.
happened?
It comes with other perks. It's all good. Anyway. All right, guys. For those of you who are listening today, Jimmy's given us a plethora of advice. If you are working with a PR firm, if you're thinking about working with a PR firm, there's lots of nuggets here that you need to be aware of. But I think the last being the most important, in that information is too easily found these days. There is no opportunity to tell even the littlest lies in your press releases. Like, be real about what you're doing, how big your firm is, all the things, because the world is too small and it's too easy for that to be turned into a snowball effect.
Amen, sister.
I didn't think I ever made you lie. Did I ever make you lie? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I will say that fintechs are definitely, they say things are going to be released and then they're not. But that's not malicious. It's just the way development happens. So I'm sure we all have some of that.
Well, yeah. And look, I can't rattle any off the top of my head, but I'm willing to bet that there was plenty of technologies that were backburnered while AI was screaming and taking every headline, right?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Oh my gosh.
So,
All right, Jimmy, leave our guests with something dazzling to remember you by. What do you want them to know?
so my last message to people that are considering hiring a PR firm would be to make sure that said PR firm is not promising you the moon, the sun, and the stars on day one, because momentum takes time and it's hard to build. But once you build it, then it's usually pretty, it's easier to sustain. I would also be wary of your PR partner who is too meek and too quiet and doesn't show up when things get hard, because that's when you really want your PR firm to be at your side, even if they have to admit to you that certain stories that we thought were going to be newsmakers are not getting the attention that everyone had hoped. At that point, you're going to find out what kind of partner you've hired, and you're going to want somebody who has been there and done that in order to find the best way out of whatever that mess might be. And then other than that, I would also just remind everybody, have fun, right? Like, we literally have one turn on this planet, so keep everything in perspective.
I love that. And also, I'm sure he meant to say this, but we love a good, great PR firm, great marketing firm combo.
Oh,
If you
yes.
can hire two.
That is
Because
correct.
we make each other better for sure. till the end of time. Right, my friend?
Amen. We love to put what the marketing folks and the marketing firm or the marketing team is doing on steroids. So, a great example of when 1 + 1 could equal 3 or more.
All right, Jimmy. I love you. Thank you so much for your time. I love watching your success and hope to be doing this alongside you for a long time.
Kelly, thanks so much for having me. Glad we finally
Cheers.
got it done. I could hear Tina in the background. Tell her I said to quiet down. Trying to record a freaking podcast here.
I know. She would be yelling at me if it was the other way around. It's okay. All right.
Right?
I'll see you later, Jimmy. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to be notified when new episodes become available. And please consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. This podcast is sponsored by Intentionally, a financial services growth engine design consultancy and agency. If you want to learn more, please email me at kelly@growintentionally.com. Thank you again for listening, and check back to hear what we're not doing next.
The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Kelly Waltrich. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only.